Mindset Movement. We are in here this morning. All right. Jenny, good to see you this morning. All right. Johnson, good to see you this morning. Jenny and Johnson. Hey. All right. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Carl. All right. All right. I'm your realtor. Good to see you this morning. Good to see you this morning. All right. So glad that you are here. Z Hassan, good to see you this morning. Fantastic. All right. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're hearing everything effectively and clearly. All right. Let's see if we can see if anybody's in the YouTube room. Let's see what we got. Judith Schneidman. Good to see you this morning. I think it's a little bit since I've said hey to you. All right, good. Glad you're here this morning. Michael Avril, good to see you this morning. All right, fantastic. Let's see if anybody's in the LinkedIn space this morning. All right. Eric Bean, good to see you this morning. Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. All right, let's see. We got about 30 seconds, people, before the show itself goes live. Well, we are live. That's kind of a misnomer. We're live. But we're live on Clubhouse, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and YouTube. We're on all the spaces. We're in all the spots. Yes, yes, yes. Let's keep this thing going. Come on. I feel like my voice is a little bit lower this morning. I feel like I just woke up. Hey, y'all. Hey. It's the top of the hour, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time, whatever time it is on the eastern coast of the United States of America. Welcome to the Monday Mindset Movement. I'm your friend, your man, your brother, your neighbor, Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. I'm so glad to be here with you for another 15-minute segment of motivation, elevation, and inspiration designed to get you rocking and rolling through your week. That is the Monday Mindset Movement. I'm so glad that y'all are here. Hey, continue to come in the room. People on Instagram, on Clubhouse, on YouTube, on Facebook. So glad to see you this morning. I got a question for you. What do you do when things feel impossible? What do you do when it feels like it's statistically improbable for you to come out on top? What do you do mentally? Because that's the big thing, right? What do you do mentally when it feels like you're failing, when it feels like you're losing? What do you do? We're going to talk about that this morning. So welcome. If you want to get in touch with me, go to getintouchwithrk3.com. We are again launching, if you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, we're again launching the Video Storytelling Challenge, April 18th through 20th. So go to videostorytellingchallenge.com. And finally, if you want to get notified when we go live for the Monday Mindset Movement, just go ahead and text "Go Live" to 240-55-STORY. That's "Go Live" to 240-557-8679. And with that, let's jump on in and get the show rolling. Here we go. Hey, y'all, again, welcome to another Monday Mindset Movement. I'm so glad that you're here. I don't know what your bent or your leaning is, but if you celebrated Easter weekend this weekend, happy Easter weekend, or happy belated Easter weekend to you. So glad that you're here this morning. So let's talk about that for a second. My question was, what do you do when you feel like things are impossible? What do you do when you feel like it's statistically improbable to come out on top? Where do you go? How do you handle that? And that's the big question for a lot of us, right? We don't always handle things effectively. I've seen as a coach, one of the things that I do is I coach my son's high school baseball team. I'm one of the coaches for the high school baseball team. And I tend to look at not just the skill of the player. I tend to look at how they handle adversity. What does their mindset look like? What does their body language look like? The other day I was one of the pitchers on the team was pitching and the umpire wasn't giving him the calls that he wanted. Right, he thought he was throwing strikes. He thought it was coming over the plate, and he thought that he was doing well. But every time he pitched a pitch that was close to the plate and he didn't get the call, I could see his shoulders slump. I could see his shoulders go down. I could see his face start to scowl. I could see things start to shift. And every time that happened, uh, it didn't make him better. As a matter of fact, he got a little bit wilder, and the ball wasn't going where he wanted. So I had to take a timeout and walk out to the mound. And I wasn't talking to him about how he was pitching. I wasn't talking about technical things. I wasn't telling him to keep his shoulder closed. I wasn't telling him to slow it down. I was talking to him about his mindset. I was talking to him about his body language, right? What do you do mentally when things don't seem to work out the way that you intend or that you expect? What do you do? How do you handle it? Right? And that's one of the things that I love about this the Easter weekend, right? We talk about the story of Jesus and how he went through all this stuff, all this craziness. And then at the end of the story, and this was my favorite part of the story. This is my favorite part of the story, that he resurrected, right? Now, it's not just that he resurrected. That's not even the word that really gets my attention. I think of it as not just a resurrection or a coming back to life. I think of it as a comeback. I think of it as you have this space or this time frame or this time period in your life where people are doing and saying all sorts of stuff against you. Right? They're saying all these things to discredit you. They're saying all these things to cause governments or cause other people or public opinion to think about you differently. As a matter of fact, in this story, it wasn't just about causing them to think about him differently. It was about causing them to think about him so much so that their ultimate actions against him would be death. Right? And now a lot of people, you're in this space where people are against you. People are talking about you bad. Your work isn't going the way that you want it to go. Right? You have these expectations and you think that you're going to win, but it's just not going that way. So mentally, how do you handle this, or what do you do? And so again, the Easter story, what I like about it is, in spite of the court scene, in spite of public opinion, in spite of all the different things that happened, right? In spite of, even in this case, in spite of death, in spite of the ultimate sacrifice, there was a comeback. There was a comeback. So what about you? What about you? Are you in the mindset of comeback? Right? Do you have a comeback mindset? There's this great story. I love this story. There's a young lady by the name of, or there was a young lady, she's still alive, by the name of Heather Dorniden, and she was a runner for the University of Minnesota. And this was about 2008. There was a track and field championships that were taking place, and Heather Dorniden ran this 600 meters. Now, 600 meters, typically there's an indoor track, right? And on that indoor track, the indoor track is a little bit smaller than the outdoor track. So the indoor track is about 200 meters for one full lap, right? So they run around this indoor track 3 times, and that allows them to complete 600 meters. So here it is. Heather Dorniden is running this race for the University of Minnesota. Now, at the end of lap 1, she's running and she's about in about second place, right? So if you're watching this online with me, she's the one that's in second place at the end of lap 1, right? There's another young lady that's in front of her, and she's running. They come down the back stretch, and she's starting to close in from second place a little bit. If you run track, you know that it's also very strategic. It's not just being the fastest. It's being strategic in how you use your energy and how you pace yourself. But at the end of lap 2, she pulls ahead into first place, and then she trips. Right? So by the time that she gets up, she falls flat on her face. There's only one more lap to go. By the time she gets up, the other runners were about 50 meters ahead of her at this point. So what that means is she's getting up, she's looking up, and she's got to cover 200 meters in the time that it would take the rest of them to cover 150 meters. Now, a lot of us would just give up at this point, right? We're on the floor, face planted, face down, and we look up, and everybody else has 3/4 of the way to go, and you've got the entirety to go. But what Heather does, she gets up and she decides that she's going to give everything that she's got. And for those of you that are watching, this is already finished, right? But she falls and she decides that, listen, I am not going to just sit here on the ground or lie here on the ground. She gets up and she takes off and she gives every piece of energy that she's got and ends up coming around and winning the race by, get this, 0.04 seconds. Right? 0.04 seconds. That's not even it's not a second. It's not half a second. It's not even a tenth of a second. It's 0.04 seconds is what she won by. You know, but in the history books, it doesn't even matter whether it was 0.1, 0.01, or whatever it is. The history still crowns her as a champion. And I was watching this on YouTube, and I love what somebody said on YouTube. They said, if she would have just won the race, it's a college race. They said if she would have just won the race outright, she would have been forgotten in a couple of days. But because she fell and she had the mindset of a champion and she got up and she came back and won that race, she now inspires millions forever. So here's the thing, and here's why I want to bring that up, because a lot of times we are in this space where failure seems imminent, and we just kind of throw our hands up, and we're like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't have a chance. And we come up with all sorts of stuff. The world is against me. Everybody is against me. Nobody wants me to win. Everybody's down on me. Nobody's giving me a chance. Nobody's giving me an opportunity. And we have all of these things that go into our minds and come out of our mouths. Right? And if we allow that to be the space, then what we are essentially doing is robbing the future of the opportunity or the ability to have a blueprint for success, right? Because your comeback, right? Yuva Shakes, we need to continue to get up. Exactly. Your comeback is an inspiration for somebody else. Your mindset of winning, your mindset of championship, somebody else is looking at you, right? Somebody else is looking to you. I love what Willie Jolly says in his book. He says a setback is a setup for a comeback. And I love what his quote is in the book. He says, the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. The past is a place of reference and not a place of residence. And the reason that a lot of us don't win, or a lot of us stay stuck, is because we continue to replay the past failures. We continue to replay the past words of others. We continue to dwell on some of the stuff that people have placed on us, right? And if we continue to replay the past, if we continue to live and sit in the past, then we never get to the place of winning. We never get to the place of success. And if I go back to the race that Heather Dorniden ran and the conversation that somebody had on YouTube where they said if she'd have just won the race, she'd have been forgotten 2 days later. But because she got up, because she had a mindset of comeback or a champion mindset, she's remembered all the time. And in response to that, I say that completion and comfort is casual, but winning against the odds is a champion. Right? You see, when we're in a space where we're not being pushed out of our comfort zone, then the win that we might get in that space or in that situation isn't something that causes us growth or causes us to be better. It's just it's casual and it becomes forgotten. But when you win against the odds, when you take on, or when you are the underdog and you do everything that it takes. If you look back, if you even look in football, look up football clips online where a team is down and they're like 6 seconds left. They're down by 7 points or 6 points, and it feels impossible to win. How do you score a touchdown in 6 seconds? If everybody just throws up their hands and is like, you know what, it's done. We're not going to win. We can't do anything else. Right? If that's the case, if that happens, then we wouldn't have any of these miracle comebacks. We wouldn't have any miracle comebacks. Right? We have miracle comebacks because people have a mindset of never give up. People have a mindset of comeback. People have a mindset of winning. People have a mindset of champion. And that can be your mindset this week. That can be your mindset today. So what do you need to do to get that mindset, or how do you develop that mindset? What I want to share three things. I want to share three things that you can do to develop that championship mindset. Number one thing is be aware of how much time you spend in the past. Be aware of how much time you spend in the past. So here's the thing. A lot of times we hang out with people, with friends. The other day I was talking with a friend of mine, and we were referring to some other friend. And he said, you know what, when I speak with this friend, all we do is talk about the old days. All we do is talk about what it was like in college. All we do is talk about stuff that we used to do. Right? And when you're in that company, if you're in the company of people who are always talking about what used to be, that can become who you are or where you choose to dwell. Right? So if you're always in the space of talking about the past, what you used to do, then it becomes difficult for you to develop a mindset of winning or a champion, right? There's this maxim that says small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, great minds discuss ideas. And ideas are things that don't exist yet, right? They're things that are in the future, things that haven't been developed yet. Are you in a mindset of discussing ideas? Are you in this mindset of discussing possibility, things that haven't been created just yet? What's your mindset? What are you in? Right? So thing number one, how do you develop that championship mindset? Be aware, number one, of how much time you spend in the past. And if the people that you're hanging around with are past people, right? If they're past people, then you gotta chuck them a little bit to the curb, or at least spend a lot less time with them. You gotta evaluate your relationships and your friendships. Be aware of how much time you spend in the past. Number two thing to develop a championship mindset: regularly put yourself in position to push past your comfort. I'll say that one more time. It's a tongue twister. Regularly put yourself in position to push past your comfort. This is why exercise is important. Exercise is not just for the body. Exercise is also for the mind. And when I talk about exercise, I'm not talking about, okay, yep, I'm just going to stretch, I'm going to move myself and make sure that I move, I'm going to walk down the block. I'm talking about the type of exercise that causes you discomfort. I'm talking about the type of exercise that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, can I step further? Can I go? Can I push one more? Can I run one more minute? The type of exercise that causes you to have to push past your comfort zone. That's the type of exercise I'm talking about. So if you're getting older or whatever the case is, are you still creating resistance for yourself? Are you pushing yourself to the point of failure? Because that's where growth happens. That's where growth happens. Right? Exercise where you're not seeking to grow is just maintenance. Are you just kind of like, oh, okay, yep, I'm just active today? Are you just looking for maintenance, or are you looking for growth? So the number two thing that you need to do if you're wanting to develop that championship mindset, that growth mindset, that comeback mindset, is regularly put yourself in position to push past your comfort. And then the number three thing is you got to regularly visualize comeback moments. You got to regularly visualize comeback moments. See, here's the thing. Winning is rarely a surprise. Instead, it's done by physical and mental rehearsal. People who are winners, people who are champions, don't just come into the winner's circle by mistake or by accident. They saw themselves there before. I remember hearing a story about Peyton Manning and what he would do in his visualization process. And he would visualize throwing touchdowns. He would visualize the literal spiral of the ball going, what direction it was going, where it was going, and everything that it was doing from the time it left his hands until the time it settled into the hands of the receivers in the end zone. Right? His process for winning, his mental process of championship was so detailed because he visualized the moments of winning before they happened. So it wasn't a surprise. When the possibility came up, he knew what to do. And that's what happens with so many of us, right? We come against a challenge. We come against something that is an obstacle for us, and we don't know what to do because we haven't practiced it or we haven't mentally rehearsed winning before that moment. So the third thing that I want you to do is I want you to regularly visualize comeback moments. What are the moments? What are the spaces of progress or forward movement in your life? If it's work, what is the thing that could happen that would challenge you or cause you to have to push to win? What about your relationship? What is the thing that could happen that would cause you to have to push to win? Right? What about in your business? What about in your career? What is the thing that could happen that would cause you to have to push to win? And if that thing happens, what is it that you need to do? What physically do you need to do, and what mental space do you need to be in? Are you going to be in a mental space of, yeah, I'm going to push forward, I'm going to win? Or are you just going to give up? So I'll repeat those things. How do you develop a championship mindset? How do you develop that comeback mindset? Number one, be aware of how much time you spend in the past. Number two, regularly put yourself in position to push past your comfort. Number three, regularly visualize comeback moments. Hey, y'all, today is Monday. I want to encourage you, and I want you to shift your mindset to a place of growth, not just a place of maintenance, not just a place of status quo, not just a place of, I'm just going to stay here. But I want you to shift your mindset to a place of growth. And that doesn't just start and stop on Monday. We want to encourage you to take your Monday mindset into tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Yeah. This is how we do it. Make a choice. Move. Start a movement. Be a movement. Join me next week, Monday, for the Monday Mindset Movement. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all the places, maybe even Twitch. Connect with us there for the Monday Mindset Movement at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time, whatever time it is at 8 a.m. on the eastern coast of the United States of America. Join us again next week for the Monday Mindset Movement. I'll see ya. If you're on Clubhouse, hang out. We're going to chat for a little bit. All right. Peace. See ya.